here. My name is Monette, and this is my channel, Evolve with Monette. I am a professional, intuitive empath. I'm coming to you live today from Sandals Royal, Barbados. You can't see me, but you will later. And I'm getting ready. Now, all the bridal party is getting ready, but I'm over here doing my getting ready before I head over there with them. And I was just thinking about knowing your worth as I'm getting ready to go join these two in matrimony. There are so many things that we want and that we want to manifest. And the beginning of all of that starts with, do you know your worth, divine feminine and empath? Because people will often try to talk you out of your worth. Now we see things like this even from like buying a car. If you don't know the Kelly Blue Book value, if you haven't checked the Carfax, someone can try to swindle you into paying more or whatever the case may be because that's what works for them. Well, in a lot of our relationships, people have tried to swindle us out of our goodies. And I'm not talking about just sexually, but that too, right? That's a thing too. But people have tried to swindle us out of our goodies and out of what we deserve and out of what is absolutely the right thing for us. The only person that can prevent that from happening is you. You have to know what you're worth. And I'll tell you a story. Let's do a little story time as I get my lashes on here. So, one of the things that has happened in my life for certain is that people have looked at me and have wanted to try it with me and have wanted me to bend to their will and to see myself from their limited value. I had a situation in my life where I was very willing and liberal and open to work with somebody, but they had to do it the right way. Now, here's the thing about that. Sometimes you don't always tell people every single thing regarding that. So I didn't say to this person, you have to do this the right way. I did. It wasn't like I was playing cryptic mind games with them. That was what they were doing with me. But I definitely let them know, like, this can be achieved. And it was something that was unconventional because that's just my life. But this can be achieved, but you're going to have to use your words. You're going to have to be sober. You're going to have to, communicate, give a commitment energetically, obviously, in my case. Now, they were like, no, I absolutely don't want to do that with you. I want you to bend to my will. I want you to give me what I want. And I do not want you to at all require anything of me, but I would like to extract the most premium benefits that I can from you. And up until that time, they had been receiving premium benefits from me, and I was happily giving them the premium benefits. And they were delighting in it. And they were really appalled, offended, disgusted, pissed off, and frustrated that I was no longer going to do that because I needed something back in return. That is important to know that you deserve something back in return. People will try to gaslight you out of that. And that person, for a long time, tried to get me to not know my value and was really banking on the fact that in the past I hadn't. So let's just be real here. None of us come out of the womb knowing exactly how valuable we are. I once heard Iman talk about a guy scouting her to be a model, Iman, the famous model. And she is from Africa and she came from poverty, essentially. But she was going to go on to have a decent enough life. And when I say that, she was going to go to uni, she was going to go to school, she had like things set up for her. She was going to have a better than average life, considering, but it wasn't going to be on track to be a world famous superstar model. And a guy wanted her. The way that he talked about her, she said, I esteemed that he valued me very highly. He wanted her, not just to sleep with her. He was like scouting her. He was like, you're amazing. Come to England. We'll do this, that, and the third. And he offered her money. And she said, darling, what I realized is that if he thought this highly of me, then I was worth more than what he was offering. So what she didn't do was she didn't jump at the first thing that was given. She literally waited until he started to raise the price. She said, I created a bidding war. And she was like, because I understood my worth, even though I didn't even fully conceptualize it. So it doesn't mean you have to fully know what you're worth, but you need to have an inkling and an idea because someone will see, he saw in her gold, and what has she produced? Millions of dollars worth of the most incredible adverts, an iconic life story, an amazing relationship with David Bowie. She lived a life out of a fairy tale, but it started with that one moment when she was just a college kid who had some creepy guy, as she said, telling her that she was so beautiful and she could be famous. She figured out immediately what her worth was. Not all of us are Iman. Not all of us have that moment immediately and just know intrinsically that this is magic. But over time, it's what we're called to do, is to kind of have an inkling and kind of figure out exactly why someone might be wanting us to lower our value and to let them get in on the ground floor. I knew that what I was offering was valuable. So just in case you guys have any misconstruence about that, let's talk about what you're offering, because a lot of us do not have that experience where we just know. Our parents didn't sow it into us. It was not just a given thing. A lot of us don't understand how valuable we are, and that's literally my mission here on earth, is to teach you that. I want you to have that moment like Iman did. I want you to know, feel, and see, and touch, and do, and be valued. But it starts with you doing it for yourself first. In my situation, where I too had caved and said, this subpar relationship dynamic where you're treating someone else better and you're using me as the emotional crutch, is something that we've done before. So I'm not going to lie and say that I hadn't given that person access to me in that way, because I love them. And sometimes we will love someone, and it's very toxic if you are loving someone more than you are loving yourself. You guys get what I'm saying here? And we all have been guilty of it. If you're an empath, you've done it. So it's not a question of like, I don't know if I've done that. No, if you're watching this video, you have. You've overgiven to someone, a parent, a friend, a spouse, a child, and you have put them before your own needs. And as women, we are conditioned to do that. But balderdash, I say, balderdash all the way. Love yourself. Be self-involved. Be self-involved so much so that people could opine and look on and say, wow, she's quite selfish, because women do not understand the concept of being a kind of selfish that says, what I will not do is forfeit what my needs are and my desires are to make sure that you feel supported and validated. Hold on one second, guys. To make sure that you feel supported and validated. So, the thing that happens is that people will notice that you're magic. They will notice that you bring a certain joy and juice and vibration to their life. And they will not want you to know that they know. They don't want you to see what they see. Good morning, SDF. Let's see here. I have this turned a certain way. Get my makeup done. Hold on, let me see if I can see you. Metaphysical capitalism. Girl! Hey, Just Theory! Hey, sweetie, I hope you're feeling better. I've been thinking about you. Metaphysical capitalism. Girl! SDF girl, I gotta make a video about that! That is good. Metaphysical capitalism. SDF just said a whole word. Metaphysical capitalism. Yeah, absolutely. Expand what you mean by that, SDF. I'm really curious to hear your take on what that means to you, but I just love the way that sounds. It makes so much sense to me. But what do you mean by that? But in any case, so hey, good morning, SDF. Yeah, please let me know. Yeah, tell me what you mean by the metaphysical capitalism. And just says feeling better. I'm so glad to hear that, Jess. That's a relief to me too. Music to my ears. We want our Jess feeling good and pumping out her videos. Guys, go check out Jess's channel. Jess has a channel where she breaks down things, and she's been doing like literally like newsworthy coverage of Brandon Schaub, Theo Vaughn. I love Theo actually. And the situation that happened with Bobby Lee and all of that. Jess, I would love to know what your thoughts are about the breakup with Bobby Lee and Kai, whatever her name is. You know what I'm talking about. Anyway, girl, that's Jess's lane. I will stay in my lane. That is so Jess's lane. Y'all go give Jess some love. If you're interested in any of those comedians that I just mentioned, or that scene, or an incredible commentary from a doctor, and that is Jess, then go over there and check her out. Anyway, so you have to know your value, guys. It is so important, because people will try to convince you out of that, and narcissistic friends and family members love for you to not know what you're worth, so that they can continue to siphon your incredible energy, and then be like, oh, you should be grateful. No, they should be grateful. And that's one thing that people, a lot of feedback that I've received. Okay, it's so funny to me. I was just doing my makeup. My pump on my MAC thing on my foundation is like There's a special way you have to turn me down for me to work when it was just working. Okay. So uh, people will try to convince you of what your value is because they want a bargain price. And a lot of us are precious. If you're listening, you're precious. So if no one's told you, well, that's telling you you're precious. Your energy matters. You affect people in incredible ways. You change people's lives, 1,000%, and you help make people better. You are the Neo song, minus the misogyny and narcissism that comes with Neo, apparently, according to his life. But that's another video for another day. You are that. You make people's life better, and people want that at a bargain price. They don't want you to know that you can require things. Now, here's where I see this play out a lot for my sweet empaths: is in romantic relationships or in friendships where people want to use you and they don't want to feed into you, and they're not real and they don't give a damn about you, to be honest with you, but they don't want you to stop providing them with that sweet um, empath juju and that good insight and advice. Guys, we are some of the best, unironic therapists in the land, and people will want to use that up and use it for free, and they will drain you. This is when we talk about energy vampirism. You guys understand? You guys have all experienced it. You may not even put words to it, and some of us have. So that's what it is. People will want to vampirically utilize your energy because you're a fantastic resource. Now, in my case, I had somebody that wanted me to emotionally feed a devil that they were connected to. I wasn't going to do it. They were enough of a burden to me, but I was like, girl, I'm not feeding you and your spawn of Satan too. And they were like trying to give me nothing while they had given a lot to this other person because they had required that. And that's what's so interesting about when you require things and you know your worth, people will rise to meet you, even people that don't want to. So, but if they can sell you short, if they can get you to be like, oh, give this to me for absolutely free and nothing, they will also do that too. And they will do it happily. And they will gleefully skip away. And then they'll pay somebody else more. This is something else I've had to learn as a practitioner regarding valuing my services and how I give my services out. Because I had to esteem myself as worth what I was worth and not negotiate. And people will often get you to negotiate. And I still have clients that are new. Like sometimes someone will refer someone to me or they've worked with me for a while and they'll want to negotiate with me on my price. I don't negotiate with terrorists. You know, I'm all about like making someone feel like they have a deal. We all want a deal. I get that. But at the end of the day, your price is your price. I'm also an artist. Your price is your price. People don't realize what goes into creating, making, and being in those spaces unless you are that. Your price is your price. And yesterday's price, is not tomorrow's price. Because as you value yourself, the price goes up. A Basquiat in the 1980s would have been worth what it's worth, and today it's multi-million dollars that it is worth. Basquiat might have sold one of those paintings for a few $100s when he was making it, but the price went up because it's esteemed differently, because there's a different value that's ascribed to it. Well, when you start to love yourself, you ascribe a different value. No one has to do that for you. There is no art appraiser that's going to come along and say, Divine Feminine, you're worth this. You decide that you're the diamond. That's why I named this Diamond Valley. You decide that you're worth that, and guess what? The world will meet you. There will be people that will say you're insane. You are not worth that. It's too much. Who the fuck do you think you are? People will have a big issue with you having a clear identity about who you are. But guess what? The people that want your services will find you. The people that want your friendship will find you. The people that want to be your lovers will find you. And they will say, oh God, not only are you worth it, you're worth more. You're worth more. Oh my gosh, you're an asset. You're a value. I'm not telling you this because I hope it happens for you. I'm telling you this because I've experienced it. But I experienced it by unrepentantly, unapologetically holding out for what was the best. Now, the reason that I'm coming to you today is this. Last night I had a really incredible experience on the Pisces full moon. My bestie and I stayed up till 4 in the morning and we were talking and we were having magical moments. And because of the way that my gifting works, because of what I held out for, because I didn't sell myself for less and have a bestieship with someone who was nonsense, my angel sent me someone who is so well tailored for me that I couldn't ask for more. And as we began talking, and yes, it was late, we began to have a very 5D metaphysical experience where we both were seeing clear trails, golden threads, huge auras on each other. We had entered into a graduation realm regarding our relationship. Now, for anybody listening to this that's not into that, you may think, well, that's rather far-fetched and that sounds, like not practical or not highly plausible, that's okay. I live in that space. These are my realities. These are the things that happen. But the reason that it happened is because I allowed delayed gratification to be part of my life. I said I'm not going to just be in a bestieship with someone who doesn't value me, who's trying to get me to lower my value because she doesn't know hers and trying to attach me to toxicity in her life. I refused it. I walked away from it. And I took the risk of being quote unquote lonely so that I could manifest someone that was actually right for me, that was sent for me from fucking Atlantis, from the moon, from the stars, from the galaxies. I have no idea. And I didn't corrupt the relationship. Let's talk about that. Sometimes we are so used to our toxic past patterning of behavior that we will get something that is exactly what we asked for and we will corrupt it. I am no exception. Because of the way that I've governed myself in my relationships, because of my nature, because of my sexuality, I have definitely blurred lines with friends before with ease. With ease, it's part of my nature, it's part of my sacral chakra, it's part of my gifting, right? I have to be highly conscientious with my gifting and my power, just like you will be. If you are highly valued and highly esteemed, you have great power. And what is it to be said? To whom much is given, much is expected. I can't be willy-nilly and lackadaisical with my energy, emotional, loving, sexual, or otherwise. And I had to learn lessons along my life about not blurring lines. So for anybody that's ever been in a friends with Benny situation, this one's for you. Fortunately, I've gotten to experience that on both sides, with men and women, because that is my nature and that is my sexuality. But it means that that has been a little tricky place for me, especially when I was younger. And I got out of a connection that was a blurry friends with Benny situation. And I was like, no, I deserve more and better, and I want a good human. And I exactly manifested that. Did that mean that I wasn't tempted to blur the lines? Of course I was. Did that mean that there wasn't attraction? Of course there was. Here's the thing to understand about your soulmates, guys. When you have a real soulmate come into your life, for most of us, there will be some level of sexual attraction. That's why so many people get confused and don't want to release or let someone go out of their life because they're like, no, but I'm attracted to them. You're attracted to them sometimes because your angels want to get your attention. So that is something that I have taught about here previously. It's something that Sonia Choquette, who is a famous psychic medium, taught me regarding that. Okay, not me directly, but I learned through her courses and classes. Okay, so you will be sexually attracted to soulmates. It is a normal, natural thing, but it doesn't mean that it's supposed to play out. I had the Friends with Benny blurry situation with an ex bestie, and I was praying vehemently to have a real connection with someone who could actually love me. And I got that. But in the beginning, years and years ago, I certainly thought it should be blurred. It was not to be blurred. And they actually challenged me. They said, do you want to be to this person how your person was to you? Meaning you just wanted friendship from your person. She couldn't fathom the concept, and she kept trying to breach your boundaries at every step, which you found annoying, disgusting, a turnoff, ridiculous. And not because, listen, anything can be done right. Let's say you have a friends with Benny situation. Let's say you're with a guy. You have a friends with Benny situation. You want to take it to the next level, but you're like, well, we had this, it was corrupted, how do we do that? Well, it has to be done soberly. It has to be done without being inebriated. Do you follow my drift here? It has to be done without drugs and alcohol. There has to be a real conversation of acknowledgement of what's going on and how we elevate the relationship to the next level. I am marrying people, okay, that started out, girl, let me spill the tea, on some friends with Benny, on some, this is just going to be casual. Hold on, guys, let me get this lash on, because let me tell you something about a lash. First of all, ladies, if you guys are using strip lashes, the secret to your lash being magical is to trim. Trim, trim, trim. A little trim never hurt anybody. In fact, it makes your lash, literally measure your lash and see. The lashes are too long when they come the way they do in the box. You need to measure your lash, and you need it to actually fit your eye really nicely, and that's going to make the application so much easier. I promise you someday I will do a makeup tutorial, but that's important. Another thing is you want to get it on one time. When we're moving our lash and we have to kind of like fix our makeup around it, that causes all kinds of drama and whatever, and then people start to overline to correct that. I literally don't use eyeliner when I'm doing my lash because I have smaller eyes, and so it can make my eye really heavy. And I once had feedback. Sometimes, little sidebar here, people's criticism can be incredibly helpful to help you correct. I use criticism to help me self-correct all the time in everything, from my reading style to my life to makeup. And I had someone who was really mean, a narcissist once, tell me about like how I was terrible at lashes and terrible, and I looked horrible and ugly because the narcissists are fun that way. And she said like, oh, I hate the way lashes look on women. This is years ago before people started really like wearing them as much as like it's just normal now. So she was like, especially on black women. She was a black woman, but she was like, I hate the way it looks because it's so heavy and you can't see their eye. Well, today I'm wearing a really heavy lash because we're going to be doing photos and makeup pictures and all the rest of that. And it's a heavier lash than I would wear on a daily use. But the way that I have gotten around making it look more natural is I don't line over it. So you know how you guys all do eyeliner? I don't do that. I literally let the lash speak for itself. So, but that does take precision with the application because there's no mistakes when you do it. It doesn't mean I don't make them. It just means that with a lot of practice, you change that. So even if you're using a lighter lash for daily use, highly advisable to really work on trimming it properly for your eye. That's really the secret. And getting and letting it get tacky before you apply. So let it dry a bit before you apply, and then not overlining. Even if you do line one strip, ladies, don't like try to resist the need to overline because you will lose your eye and lose your makeup. And I spend time on my makeup purposely, and I want my eye to pop, so I don't want that to be hidden. I usually go for a wispier lash because I literally want you to see my eye makeup. Does that make sense, guys? So for anybody that's ever thought about that, because I've had people ask me about that, like, oh, I struggle with lashes. Everyone does. You are not. You are. There's nothing wrong with you. Lashes are a pain in the ass for everybody. It takes a lot of time, practice, and years. And that negative feedback from that narcissist changed the way that I did it. And I was like, not only will I be fantastic at it, I'll be one of the best. That's my motto, guys. Anyway, know your worth. So I didn't even let her talk me out of that. Narcissist, that's maybe a side for somebody here that needs to hear that. We'll try to convince you that you're this and that because really what they want you to do is stop shining, stop being the diamond, stop being magical. And maybe she wasn't wrong. Maybe it was a hot mess, but it's not now. And that's what happens when you invest in yourself and you don't listen to what people say, or you take their constructive criticism, even though she didn't mean it that way, and you actually turn it into that for yourself. That's what we do. We transmute things. Haters have always hated y'all, and they never will stop. But every time I get hate, even if it hurts my feelings, I'm like, okay, what about this is true? How can I fix this? And now, can't nobody tell me nothing with my lash game. All right. So, in fact, I get compliments all the time, and I'm not saying that to be conceited. Know your worth. Know that about yourself. Know what you're good at. Know how you got good at it. And remember that sometimes it came from pain. Now, back to the Friends with Benny. Today I'm marrying people that started out casual, okay? And what happened was they had real sober conversations. And I walked the bride through it, okay? She was a client of mine. I walked her through it. And I got her into the relationship. When I say I got her, she did it. But she took my advice and she listened. It happened over a period of years, yes, but a couple. It wasn't a long time. And that's because it's possible to do when you define what it is. But if someone is trying to be like ambiguous, like I don't know how to tell you what I want, I don't know, and whatever the case, and whatever. And what I will tell you that I was really proud about this bride to be today in a few hours is she was happy to walk away. She didn't want to. Hold on one second. Next lash, second verse, same as the first. Hold on, homies. Yeah. Something that I do too. Hold on. Don't make me a liar. Tweezers are so necessary. Not necessarily needle nose, but a flat angled tweezer is necessary. Now, a lot of us, when we get lashes, get those little fat tweezers, too fat. You need something more precise because they become your fingers. Now, I often have on nails, so I can't get in to my lash bed the way that I want to. Also, if you're struggling with overlining, put a little mascara on your eye just to define your lash beforehand if you want to. I don't always do that, but it does help to give you more definition. If you're like, oh, I can't break the overlining habit, definitely mascara your eyelash. I just clean mine well because I want it to seamlessly blend. I don't have lashes at all, really, so this whole lash thing works really well for me. Second verse, same as the first. Okay, so what I was saying, and what I was saying that is because I've got to get this lash on perfectly. When it's an occasion like today, I don't have room for errors. You understand? It's like this has to get on and it has to look amazing because these pictures last for freaking ever. And girl, you be on everybody's Facebook when you are officiating a wedding. You'll be on everybody's Facebook, so you better get it right. So I say a little prayer to my angels, a little Aphrodite's love spell when I'm doing my makeup, when I get ready for myself. Like, all right, let's get this together. They offered makeup and hair and nails and all of that. And the bride was like, I know that you're going to do your own. And I was like, yeah, girl, you already know. So they're over there doing it, but I'm here and I will show up and we're going to be magical. All right. Love it. Thank you, angels. I love when the lashes go on perfectly. Okay. So you have to define it. And this bride was very comfortable with walking away from her groom because it wasn't her groom at the time, but she knew her worth, man. This person, is a doctor and she's a high achiever. She's an overachiever to say the least, and she knew her worth and she wanted him and she wanted to pin him. And when I say pin him, like, you know how we play that mating game and we want to like have the guy admit it, but he wasn't doing what was needed to be done. And I gave her some advice. She actually took it, but the thing about it is she had her own self-worth. I can't give you that. I can give you advice, you can pay for that, but I can't give you self-worth. And she was like, you know what, I know what I want and I'm not settling. And she didn't settle. She didn't force him or strong arm him. She just loved herself enough to walk away. I'll tell you another story. Steve Harvey, if whether you like him or not, said that he kept his wife, Marjorie, who now lives like a queen, because he had some other female calling him. Marjorie and him were in the beginning stages of dating. She was at his house visiting him and wherever he was living in Chicago or wherever, and some other female had called him. Some other woman had called him. And this is what he said. Some other female had called me, and he was like, he was on the phone talking to her, and Marjorie heard it, and she didn't say anything to him. She didn't cause a ruckus. She didn't fight him. She didn't say, it's me or her, choose. None of the drama. There was nothing ghetto that happened. She quietly waited for him to go to sleep, and she packed her bags, and what he heard was her rolling her bags out in the middle of the night, and he got up and he said, what are you doing? And she said, I'm leaving until you figure out who you are and you figure out who I'm not. Something to that effect. Girl, the power in that. Till you figure out who you are and who I'm not. And also, I'm leaving. The end. Sometimes you will have to extract yourself from a situation, from a person, from a place, from people that think so. And you have to give no fucks, my loves. Give none of them. It can't be a facade because a man or a woman will sniff out the fact that it's a facade. If you don't love yourself, it will be known and they will test your boundaries and they will be like, oh, well, come back or try this or we'll try that or I'll give you this little crumb. They will try you that way. And if you fall for it, you shall be fallen, okay? You will not recover and they will know now that you don't know your worth and they love to pin you in that position. So the person that is going to be getting married today and saying I do on the gorgeous beach at Sandals Royal Barbados is a person who cried to me a year and a half ago and was like, I love this guy, but I'm not gonna be his booty call. I'm not gonna be his side chick. I know exactly what I want. You better know what you want, Divine Feminine. And in my case, when I had my friends with Benny situation with my person that I love, she knew that we could have escalated and elevated into anything because I am liberal, I am not conservative, and because my life and my sacral chakra is set up that way. Not everybody's is, but I definitely could have elevated our connection were she to have a modicum of honesty with herself. It wasn't with me. I already know. I do this for a living. I knew exactly what was going on. I knew exactly how she felt. I knew exactly how deep was the love. How deep is the love? The reason that I mentioned this is because last night I got a lot of signs and symbologies. I came out of a restaurant. I had a lot of signs and symbologies, but then I walked out and the karaoke bar across the way, it was filled with drunk, happy people singing as loud as they could, Ain't No Sunshine When She's Gone, which is a harbinger for me of energy from that person who was like, damn, why did she know her worth? Why did she leave? Why didn't she stay and deal with my bullshit? Because I'm not going to. So yes, all friends with Benny situations aren't ideal, but can you get something that you want out of it if someone's willing to have the conversation and hold their end of the bargain and be responsible? You can. You know, I'm not your conventional advisor in that I would just tell you to run from that. I think anything can be made to work with communication, but if someone is unwilling to communicate with you, then you have to know your value and communicate with them. Steve Harvey's wife became that because Steve knew her value. Steve knew her value. Let's talk about it. When he first met her, he saw her in a comedy club in 1989. He was with somebody else, she was with someone else, and he looked out into the crowd jokingly and said, "You're going to be my wife." He let her know right away that he knew how valuable she was because he hit on her immediately while they both were otherwise engaged. It took years for them to be together, but that statement came true. People know immediately, divine feminine and empath, how valuable they are, and they will let you know if you listen. There'll be little tells that they let you know exactly how much. In my case, my person would profusely tell me what an amazing person I was, what a benefit and an asset I was to her life. She didn't know that I was working magic and that she was siphoning my energy and that I knew what was happening and all the rest of it. Another thing, divine feminine and empath, know this about yourself. People that don't want you to know your value need you to stay around so they can continue to suck your magic. What energy transference happens with us often, every day it happens. Last night, when me and my bestie were talking, we were both having elevated magical experiences. We were both saying things. My bestie's really gifted that way. I kind of love it. But I have helped her grow, as she has said, and she has helped me grow. The energy transference that I received from my bestie was a financial elevation. She didn't do anything for me other than traffic in the vibration of optimism and you can and I see you being magical. But because she believed in me, that having a partner that believes in you will elevate you in a way that you cannot even imagine. And having a karmic hater in your life that doesn't believe in you but wants to use your energy will deplete your resources and cause you to be weak. And empaths, why do we deal with autoimmune issues? Because of that. The doctors can't physically or say anything, but metaphysically, I tell you, as a spiritual doctor over here, okay, with no PhD, that's exactly what's happening. Now, let's talk about energy transference and how that happens, especially when you don't know your worth. You're with a guy or a girl, and they're having a whole glow up, and you're just getting worse and worse. You don't understand. They're siphoning your energy and then taking it and giving it to other people that would not have been interested in them had you not had spoken life into them, edified them, raised them, loved them, and been kind to them. Other people that wouldn't even have looked their way, but you made them sparkly and shiny. I mean, we've seen this phenomenon when people get married and all of a sudden everybody wants to cheat with them, right? Like, that's a thing. And it's because the wife or the husband has made the other person now seem more appealing to other people with lower vibrations. And so moths are drawn to flames. We send in and speak life and fire and magic into people, and then all of this attention comes to them. This is why I always tell you guys that I vest. People think that I'm just a bitch. No, it's a strategy. When you pull away your energy, all of that magic, if they did not generate it on their own, dissipates. No one's no longer interested. No one wants to play anymore. It is not fun, and they can't regenerate it because an energy vampire has to connect to a source to generate it. So that's why they never want you to know your value or your worth, so they can continue to siphon your energy so that they continue to be magical and then look down upon you and be like, oh, it must be so hard over there with your tragic, sad life. No, bitch, your life is tragic and sad. I'm actually magic. You can't generate it on your own. You wish, but I know my worth. Know your worth. And so many of us have had that happen with best friendships or with friends or with lovers, and we've not realized that someone had been using us the whole time because they knew our worth the whole time. Oh, but Monette, they never validated it. Maybe they didn't say anything. I never heard them say this, that, and the third. Maybe they didn't, but they knew it. Just like Steve Harvey saw his wife and was like, you're the one. They know you're the one. A narcissist, an energy vampire picks you out. You think you picked them out? Nay, nay. They are scouting you, homies. They are scouting you, mama. They are scouting you, divine feminine. They are scouting you, sir. They are just scouting you, queen. They are scouting you, earth angel. They are scouting you, empath. They are looking at you as a resource, a light, an endless resource, and they hope you never know your damn worth. They hope you never know how bloody beautiful you are. They hope you never know how enigmatic you are, how powerful and how life-changing you are, because the second you take it out, it's gone. Now, if you're dealing with someone who's not trying to negotiate with you, we don't negotiate with terrorists, and they are that. They're trying to hold you hostage to be their permanent generator, so that way they can always seem sparkly. The best thing I ever did for the person that was taking me for granted was say, not today, Satan. You're going to do your shadow work, and this time you're not going to do it with me holding your hand and leaving you a lovely cushion. And yes, didn't we almost have it all? Could we have had it? Absolutely. Am I able to facilitate that the way my life, body, sacral chakra, and sexual energy is set up? But it wasn't going to be without a conversation, because to be connected with me is a blessing. One of the rappers says, I'm that guy, don't miss your blessing. It's cocky, it's extra, but it's the truth. We are that person. We are that empath. We're that angel. And if people don't connect to us authentically, they miss their blessing. Let's talk about the blessing. Last night, as I sat here under this Piscean moon, stripped away of illusions, feeling all of my feelings, I looked at my best friend and we had the most candid, honest conversation we've had in our friendship. Every time I think we can't top ourselves, we do. And we entered into a realm of actual magic. For any practitioner here, you know what it is. For any non-believer, I'm sorry you haven't experienced it, but it's real. And we entered entered there because I did not sully the relationship. I didn't turn it into anything else. I kept it as what it was supposed to be. God said, we sent you an earth angel. We sent you a real friend. Are you going to do her how your friend did you? Or are you going to honor it? And then we could send you in whatever you want. If I wanted to outsource in any other way, then I could, but it's not to be with this person. You are supposed to honor this person. And what we will do is bless you infinitesimally from glory to glory to glory. Your relationship will only get better. You will have something that is to be talked about, something that you can write about. It is something to be held as an example, because soulmates are not always sexual. Sometimes they are platonic. And sometimes your friends with Benny can be your person, but it doesn't happen unless you know your worth. I have a good bestie because I knew my worth and I knew I deserved it. I didn't know how it was going to come in, and I stepped away from trying to orchestrate it. And guess what happened? It was orchestrated for me, better than I could have ever imagined it, even more powerful, even more gracious. If you want a relationship with someone that's a lover's relationship, you can have it, but you have to be honest. She and I had tough conversations. We had boundary setting. We had acknowledgments, but we grew and grew and grew until last night we graduated into the realm of actual fucking magic. Brilliant, perfect, voila, magic, as Future says, okay? So in your future, how are you going to manifest that? Well, it comes with knowing your worth. So whether it's a lovership, a friendship, a bestieship, you can't have it unless you understand that you're the shit and that you deserve everything that is given to you, and you will not take subpar half-assery of people that are jealous of you and want to hold back and not bless and edify thee. You are not to live in that life. People that want to diminish your light, people that want to devalue you with their narcissism, people that want to triangulate you and act like you are not enough of a friend, a person, or a lover for them, that they need 5 and 6 and 7 without honesty. Not today, Satan, never me, homie, and not you, divine feminine, and not you, my empath and earth angel. You are better than that. I'm so grateful for the collective that's over here with me. I don't care if it's 20 or 25,000. One day you will hear this in your soul. It will vibrate through you like thunder and earthquakes, and you will know it and not be able to unsee the truth of your value. And if that happens, then my work on this earth is done. That's exactly what I want, is for every one of you light workers to know how bright you are and how much you're worth. It doesn't mean that you need to be cocky a little times, sometimes it doesn't hurt. It doesn't mean that you need to be terrible to people. It means that you need to rebalance and recalibrate and be okay with walking away from somebody that wants to keep you around so that they have brighter days. No. Ain't no sunshine when you're gone. It's a song that will go on and on. People will be haunted in your absence. They will miss you infinitesimally. They will long for you greatly. They will be apologetic quietly. They will cry tears and rivers. Cry me a river. You don't have to say what you did. I already know, because we're psychic, guys. The damage is done. You don't have to go back. You don't have to replay it. You don't have to litigate it. I didn't have a deep conversation with that person. I was like, oh, you think so? That's hilarious. For the rest of your life, you'll regret it. I didn't do it to make them hurt forever. In fact, there's a place for forgiveness, but I did it because I loved me better. In fact, there's a place for that. There's a place to stand in who you are and say, I don't deserve this, and I don't deserve you, and you don't deserve me. All of this is true. Walk away. Because someone who values you will walk into your life and love you in ways that you cannot fathom. Whether it is a friends with Benny you're trying to flip, whether it is a friend that is just supposed to just be your friend and that's it, amen to my bestie, whether it is whatever. You can have anything, but our energy is powerful. Could I have corrupted my relationship with my bestie? Absolutely. Have I done it in the past? I certainly have. My sexual energy is powerful, empath, and so is yours. Divine feminine, know your power. See, you can't know your worth without knowing your power. The two things go hand in hand. I know how powerful I am. My bestie and I comment on it all the time. I know what my energy does. I know how to utilize it. I liken it to a boxer that has to register it as a deadly weapon. I don't get to be willy-nilly. Now, the previous bestie I had also had powerful sexual energy that she siphoned from me too, but she had her own. It wasn't all me. What I'm going to tell you is she lived in the corruption of it. She loved to make everything turn into a pile of fuck shit and then be like, how did this happen? happen. And my angel said, do you want to grow and ascend and do your shadow work? Or is this where the rainbow ends for you and you stay stuck here in a quagmire of ambiguity and lack of clarity and triangulation and third parties forever? Absolutely not. I'm a one-on-one kind of person in that regard, even with my bestie ship. We're not doing several on one. Does that mean I don't have multiple friends? Of course I do. But I honor with loyalty every friend differently. And I don't cross over because it's been done to me and it's been done to you. You know what I'm saying here, guys. But I could have settled in some fuckery, just like a lot of us have. And just like I have. I could have settled and said, I'll take these crumbs. That's okay, but I don't deserve crumbs. I was appalled. I was indignant. And that's the place that I want you guys to get. I was the unmitigated gall, the audacity of her to not realize who the fuck I was. But it starts with me realizing who exactly I was and who I wasn't, as Marjorie said to Steve. And sometimes people get it confused, but they can never have clarity if you don't have clarity first and you don't see yourself truly free and actually standing alone. Don't be afraid to be by yourself. Don't be afraid to walk away. The payday gets bigger every time you do it. I promise you. That's what I had to say today, especially as I stand hours away from marrying someone who started out with a friends with Benny. But I said, Mama, you get that clarity. Don't you let him pin you into some bullshit. And today, this guy is not just stepping and fetching in a bad way. He is loving his bride who guided him with the removal of her energy and said, it won't be me that plays these reindeer games with you. I'm a blessing. I'm that woman. I'm that bride. I'm that guy. I'm that girl. I'm that empath. I'm that divine feminine. Don't miss your blessing, darling. And alas, he chose not to. On bended knee, absolutely and truly, not forced into a thing, but realizing he had no choice but the offer, the commitment, and the loyalty to bring. Should she had not known her worth, this would not be the story. Do you get it? She would not be about to attain the marital glory she thought. She would have been calling me crying still about booty call nights, missed calls, and ambiguity. We deserve better, and only you get to decide that you do. They will decide for you if you allow them to. Don't let them make that choice. I regret nothing that I did. I miss no one that I left, not a damn way, not in any capacity. They miss me, and they will, in perpetuity and for eternity. That's not being cocky. Facts are facts. Know who you are. Know what you give. Know how no one else is going to love people the way that you did. Endlessly, completely, intuitively. You're brilliant, divine feminine. You are that earth angel. Don't let them miss their blessing. But please don't miss out on the blessing of yourself. That's the lesson. Let me see what you guys have to say, because I have got to get going. There's lots of things. Oh, Jesus. Oh, my goodness. Okay, let me get my last bit of makeup on here. My bestie will be arriving, and she needs makeup. She needs makeup too, because, yeah, you know, we do what we do. So the eyes are what I do. So I want to get that done for her as well. So let me finish up with this here, because I've got to, I already ironed, but I gotta get dressed. Gotta get dressed, and I know people are gonna be showing up here at the room. All right, let me see here what we said. Oh, girl, y'all were talking. Okay, excuse me. Oh, says, hey Monette, many blessings and peace to the soon-to-be married couple. May you receive many blessings as well. Thank you, K-Sala, SDF. You make business deals. Okay, so SDF says you make business deals emotionally or metaphysically, and they want to violate boundaries. Keep you energetically drain you. Yeah, when you get tired of working all day for their minimum. Yes, SCF, I get it. Wage. They tell you that you are ungrateful. Ooh, and they're on to the next one. That's why some people have high turnover of partners. Girl, SDF just taught a sermon right now. She just taught a sermon today. That is a sermon, okay? She says that we have had high turnovers of partners because people want to use you just like a minimum wage job. Man, no lies were told. Not one bloody lie was told, okay? That's the truth. And then you're like, oh, how come I keep having all this stuff happen to me and whatever? And that's what I'm saying. You got to know your worth. I walked away from jobs. I remember, guys, you've heard my story. I worked at a place that paid me $10 an hour for 10 years in corporate America. And they told me that I should come in and wash windows and that women don't ask for raises. This was said to me by a woman, a scorpionic, hateful woman. But, you know, I've learned my lessons with Scorpios. I've evolved. But they told me that. And now what I make, girl, and I'm not saying that to be ugly, y'all, but it's because I knew my worth. But for 10 years I didn't. I sat at that job while she hired with nepotism her kids, her sons, her ex-lovers, her ex-husbands, paid them all out the gate more than me, and would bring me her leftover dirty ass Tupperware and Temptations from QVC as a supplemental gift. But I didn't know my worth. I cannot make this shit up. But when I knew my worth, now, today, not only do I out earn her, she can never catch up. And I'm not saying that to be ugly, it's because I know my worth. She ended up getting fired unceremoniously and quite scandalously with the police involved. You know, karma comes for us all, but I knew my worth. And I knew I wasn't wrong about her and her trifling ways. But if I would have sat there for another 10 years, then they would have. And I would have got played. Do you get it? That was years ago in my life. But that was my reality. So when people are like, oh, you don't deserve your life, divine feminine, don't let anybody tell you what you deserve. Empath, they don't know what you've been through. Not everybody knows that I went through that. You can look at me and see me and feel like, oh, glamorous, that's magical, and you're always here and there. You don't know how I sat to be treated like shit for years in relationships, at jobs, and everything else. I had to figure out who I was and ascend. I don't talk to you from some like pulpit of piety. I talk to you from being in the dirt, Cinderella, in the cinders, sweeping the ashes, treated terribly by evil bitches. I know your pain. And that's how I learned my worth, on my knees. Don't let anybody tell you don't deserve your gains, your come-ups, your finances, your blessings, your sparkly magic. You earned it in tears and in blood and sweat that they could never relate to. And now you get a blessing they can never get because they weren't willing to go through the shit you went through. And I mean that from my chest. Stop accepting minimum wage. SDF said it best. Just Siri said, hey all, and Kisela too. So blessings indeed. Nice point, SDF. Yes, the old self-sabotage. Just Siri. Yeah, the lashes look like they already have liner built in. I didn't know you were falsies, so you're doing it right. Thank you! Because I usually go for a lighter lash, because today, like you guys will see me on camera later, this is heavy. This is heavy today, but this is what we do when we do studio makeup or when you're on camera or whatever. The pictures will be taken. I'm going to be out in the sun sweating to the oldies. Okay, we're doing a sand beach ceremony at 5. The sun's going to be out. Sun's out, guns out. So these lashes needed to be seen and not melt away into whatever. But on a regular basis, I wear falsies, but I do a lighter lash because you have to be practical. You know, not every day is this day, right? Not every day is a full glam day. Today's full glam. All right. Symbala Design says, hey Monette, hey chat, happy Saturday. Need to try lashes someday. Been wanting to. Hey, I'll do a video about that, Symbala. Everybody saying hi to each other. Facts. That's the Narcs playbook. Hi Jess, happy Sunday. Symbala, you guys, I just love you guys. You're so sweet. We are the sauce. We are the dressing. Yo, Jess is a true day one A1 subscriber. I love her. That's a video that I made a while ago. We are the sauce. We are the dressing. And that's also from that song. I'm the sauce. I'm the dressing. I'm that guy. Don't miss your blessing. Come on. Don't miss your blessing. We're that person. And people will miss their blessing and they will regret it for the rest of your life. When I heard Ain't No Sunshine last night, I was like, I hope you okay, homie, wherever you are. I wish you the best. I'm fine, but I will stay far away from you because you were a devil energy vampire. Not coming back. You don't get any more of my energy. You can watch me on the video. I know you see me on the video. True. I know you heard me on the radio. True. But you still didn't pay me any attention listening to what your girlfriends mentioned. Sometimes people will get into people's ear about you because they're jealous, because they wish they had a connection with you. And in that Exy Bessie's case, y'all know my story. She had someone in her ear that wished that she could have had access to me, that fucking wished, okay? And she couldn't, not in any real capacity. So she said, let me sabotage what you have so you don't have access to her either. And the universe said, as you wish. Your wish is my command. Yeah. So you were listening to what your girlfriends mentioned to other people. If someone that you know that you had a long relationship with, if someone allows someone else to come in that is new, you've been there longer, you have seniority, you have tenure, essentially, and they let someone that's new come in and talk them out of the relationship with you, please know they were a hater from day one and they were jealous. That's one. But two, that person didn't value you. They knew that you were valuable, but they value the opinions of others. So let them rot and sit in that opinion with the others. I'm not bitter about it. I'm fine. I have a great friendships. I have great love. I have awesome, interesting experiences. That person wished. And so they sabotaged it because they couldn't have it. And the dummy that allowed it to happen was the dummy. We are the sauce. We are the dressing. It's too bad. She missed her blessing. God bless you. The sunshine is gone. Okay? It's eclipse season for some of these hoes out here. It's eclipse season because we are not turning back. Blacked out. Light, night, night. Good night. No more light. All right. Um, Everybody is wishing Jess well. Hey, Emily says this work is not easy. Come on, Emily, my sweet Emily. It is not easy. The crew's all here. Yo, the crew is here. I feel like my favorite people in the world have showed up. I love every one of you that popped in today. You guys are like the people I've literally have connections with energetically, have talked to. I just am so grateful for each and every one of you. I can't say enough. Laura, hey, Laura. Good morning, Miss Laura. Emily, I don't want to settle for breadcrumbs, but I also want to be a full loaf for others. Wow. And I don't feel like I'm always in self-worth and self-love. You know what, Emily? Let's talk about that. That will vacillate. We will not always feel like we are in self-worth and self-love. Every moment of our life will not always feel like we are the most amazing person. That is the truth. You go in and out of that. I stand in it, but after years, you just heard my story, Emily, 10 years of making $10 an hour with someone Caucasian telling me that I should come in and turn on the lights and wash windows. I wasn't the janitor, mama. I ran the business office. But someone told me that because that was her reality. Women don't ask for raises, she said. One day, something just magical happens and more money happens for you if people notice that you turn on the lights and you wash windows, she said. Well, guess what I said? Fuck that. And I showed up for myself and I set my price. And people that love me and value me said, your price is right. Because what you provide for me is invaluable. It's not because I'm just an asshole. It's because I love the work that I do. It's because I loved myself too. And it's because I had many days of self-doubt where I wasn't in self-love, where I accepted subpar breadcrumbs from people while I was in fact the whole loaf for them. No more, my friends. It takes some time, Emily. It takes some work. But I don't tell you this because I know you know your worth. I tell you because it's about holding on to your worth. We lose it sometimes, and that's fine. But then we find it. Hide and seek, friends. Turn on the lights. See yourself anew again. You deserve everything. You deserve better than what you've been given. You deserve more than the crumbs that they could spare from their table with their ingratitude, their cravenous, greedy selves, knowing they had the whole loaf on their shelves, and they gave you paltry rat crumbs. How dare they? If no one's ever said it in your life, I stand for you right now and say, how dare they? I won't let it happen. Meaning, if you're here with me, I'm holding space for you energetically to never be taken advantage of again. So it's okay. Come in and out of that, Emily. But my friend, I promise you, you'll keep ascending, okay? Jasiri, congrats. I'm so happy for you, Monette. The prize does get better when you walk away. It's so true. Yee, Emily, hi, Laura. Empath, unite. Everybody saying hi. Congratulations to the couple. Symbala, enjoy your full loaf. Example made me chuckle. I feel you, Jess. I go back and forth. I feel whole, and then I feel half full. I feel less than one slice crumbs. Self-worth. Exactly, Emily. You really got that down. That's the truth. The moon isn't always full. That's true. Oh, that's so powerful. SDF said the moon isn't always full. Come on, SDF is coming through with the gems today. The moon isn't always full. We wax and we wane. We are feminine energy. The moon, Luna, associated with mother, associated with the sign of Cancerian energy and also Taurian energy, which are feminine, grounded empresses and energies and mothers. Cancerian energy is a consummate mother, but the moods shift with that, yeah? We wax and we wane. The tides ebb and flow. We are mostly water in our bodies, and should we not do the same? So do not hold yourself to some unreasonable account, Emily, is what I hear SDF SDF say on this day, on the year of our Lord, because just like the moon, we emotionally shift as well. You do not always feel magical and powerful. Every day is not that for me. Just because I get on here and talk doesn't mean that I don't have depression and sadness and moments of regret, but they're less and less because better and better I get at the vet, meaning I vet people better. I don't just allow anybody in because I know I'm that person and I am a blessing. You too are that. Again, never let it be said that I'm saying something that is not true for you. You are a blessing. And Emily, specifically, I think of you, specifically, walking that dog, feeding into someone's life. What a blessing are you? What a light. What are you doing right now as you transition, Emily? You're being a blessing to someone. You're the full loaf. No more crumbs for you, my love. But that will change and go because the moon is not always full. Come on, SDF. The moon is not always full, girl. That's a word. That's a word. Let's see here. A boss gave me expired food that she could no longer sell as a gift. Emily. Yes, you see how they'll try you? And then you're there holding their trash, man. Their trash. And you're like, wow, thanks. I would have loved a raise, a cost of living adjustment. I would love you to put some respect on my name, but I'll take your trash instead until you know better. But girl, isn't it funny when they try you like that? I'll never forget it. Oh my God, I feel like this is so much. People view me as lucky, but the struggle through violence was real. Yes, Monette. Jess, I love that you said that because people think that we're magical. Like Jess has a whole channel and Jess's subscribers are flourishing. She's living her best life right now. But she decided one day, I'm going to do this. And she did it. And she just did it. So you can look at that and people in her life that have judged her, treated her badly or ostracized her can be like, oh, must be nice. It wasn't always nice, homie. It wasn't always nice. It was painful. It hurt. Through violence, she ascended. We are the rose that grows through the concrete, through the dirt, through being downtrodden. We are the Cinderellas and the Cinderfellas that ascend through the ashes and the dust of haters and people that don't want to see us prosper. They have no idea. How dare they? Jess says, I'll be thinking of you at 5. Oh, thank you. Thank you. I worked extremely hard, Kay Salas said, for everything, and everyone thinks I'm lucky or the things have been given to me. No, I fought hard for the little bit of I have. I forfeit anyone's connections. MT says, hey, former bestie and that former lover, they stay connected. I don't care. Well, they can stay connected. That's up to them. But you're not connected in that same way. We're just missing Mason. Yeah, we're just missing Mason. We have the full loaf, the sauce, the recipe reference, Monette. Laura, this discussion is on point. Oh, man, I love you guys. Do you know that I love you? I love you. I love you so much. I'm going to see. I look crazy because my hair is not done. But, ooh, here's a little preview of crazy, fabulous makeup. The makeup is so extra today. But when I have my crown on and all the things, I always wear like a thing because that's a thing for me when I officiate. But I always wear the crown backwards. I wear a tiara, but it's backwards purposely because I never want to be in the brow. So it more looks like a headband, right? So when I get my hair all pinned up and curled up and all the things, you guys will see me on camera and it's going to be fun. So hopefully I'll make a video tonight after all the libations and things. It's a full day. I got to get dressed. Guys, can I tell you, probably one of my favorite discussions to date. I say that every time. The gang was all here. All of my favorite people popped in. Most of my favorite people popped in. Some of them did not pop in. One of them is in Morocco. Momo's happy place when you watch this back. Girl, yeah. I hope you were out there at the bazaar living your best life. I love it so much. Anyway, I love you guys. Come back and thank you for this discussion today. But come back and join me next time. And you know what we're going to do? We're going to continue to what? Evolve together. Thanks, Jess. Thanks.